Okay, let's just see if that's going to be any better. Playing around with that. Playing around with that. I don't need that. That. Okay. Okay, welcome back. This seems to be a bit better. Sorry, I had to just play around with the internet, a couple of settings. Let me know if the audio is all good. Likewise, I think from the checks that I've done, the buffering seems to have been resolved. If somebody could just, or a few people confirm that from your end, then we can get started. Rubens as well, I can answer your question on what you just asked, but let's just make sure the connection is all good for now. Seems much better. Well, that's good. Yeah, I think, well, I think it's better. Played around with the settings, doesn't seem to be buffering. So cool. Apologies for any glitches. All good for now. I think that's the key word for now. Fingers crossed doesn't get too windy here, because it can affect the signal. So your question, are we going to look at spots or futures trading today? Kind of both. I'm going to be on the spot market, but the topic for today, I'm going to be doing seminars every week, more and more. You know, if you've got any topics, let me know. My last seminar I did was on trend lines, support, resistance, levels, and just kind of helping you identify these. So when you are trading, if you're new to it, or if you're trading off the alerts, improving your timings, reducing your losses and getting more out of each trade. So I thought naturally it'd be better to kind of move on to kind of candles. I'll strip it back to basics for what candles are, what they represent, certain candle patterns that we talked through in the course, and candle patterns that I use when I trade, and you know, on the different time lengths. Common questions we get asked, you know, what time lengths are you looking at to go off with trade? So just kind of based off feedback and all the trading that I've done, just to put this into a seminar for you guys. You know, we for those of you that have been with us from the beginning, we've got the Crypto One method. We then created the Pro course. We have the Pro section with the Pro alerts. We now have the futures trading. So this seminar is for everybody, and what I'll be talking about can be applied to spot trading and futures trading, because it's all about candles, and that is what I spend most of my days looking at. And it's amazing just what these candles can show us. So thanks again for joining. Yeah, this seminar usually about an hour, so I know I've started a bit late, so no problemo. I will talk through some things again to strip it back to basics a little bit. Stuff you probably already know, but like with anything, you know, it's good to go over the basics for repetition, for what you're knowing, to then apply to the trades that you're doing. We have the C1M checklist. We have the trade checklist for spot trading, for futures trading, but trading, I suppose trading is, I would analyse it a bit like skiing, or if you're into a sport or whatever, you kind of learn the basics, you learn the way, and then you kind of identify certain things that you look for that you know indicate a reversal, or whether a coin is in an upwards trend or downwards trend. So I'll talk through some of these ones for today. I've opened up some of these coins. Yeah, the last 24 hours, 48 hours, Bitcoin has been ploughing up. I think it was Robin that said, and quite rightly so, around 11,500. There's quite a bit of resistance, or maybe it was Jay, I don't know. Lots of good chat in the community, which is good to see again. You know, quite a resistance level here, and we started to make its way down. So quite a rise in Bitcoin. This has meant, you know, a lot of the alts have come down quite a bit, and today, you know, a lot of them are reversing and starting to make their way back up. So candles, you know, with all trading that kind of we do, me and my brother who put this together. You know, we now have a few more on the team, all trading, all kind of talking with you guys. We put the checklist together and emphasizing more and more on 1 hour candles, 5 minutes, 1 minute, 15s. But depending on what you're looking at, really does have an indication and can have more an effect on kind of what is going to happen or what should happen. So let me just, Coty I was in for quite a while actually, and made a nice little profit off this, but let's go off Coty. Again, you know, I'm starting off on day candles here because well, I like day candles. They give you a real indication as to what is going on based on certain trend support lines. You can then look deeper, and as I said in my last seminar, with trend lines or the general feel of a coin, to know not only the market but the coin that you're looking at, right, is it generally going up or is it generally going down? A great indication for this is for you to see on day candles, you know, looking here, and again with some of these fabulous trend lines and resistance support levels that I've drawn in. Generally on day candles, if you get a couple of reds, then inevitably you've got a green one coming up. Obviously that's not always the case, because we know red can continue to be red, and or go all the way down. But identifying these trends on a greater time scale can help you look more closer at these coins with smaller time zones. So let's go into Coty. And 1 hour candles, probably my favorite length of time, or I'd say the most successful length in terms of if I see a candle that is going to imply or indicate a reversal. So remember with these candles, again, let's take it right back. You know, when I first started looking at this screen, you know, I've been involved in crypto a couple of years now, and I've been predominantly trading in a bear market. You know, the last couple of years since the huge Bitcoin run of 2017-18, it's all dropped down since then. So me and my brother put this together, and I've done a lot of our trades and learning in a bear market. So inevitably, you know, even though these coins are coming up a bit, they are heading down. Now we're kind of bottoming off, and we're seeing these coins starting to come up. You know, we've had the Bitcoin halving. Okay, Dennis, I would like to know what's going on with ERD. Well, I will get to that very shortly. Now we're coming into an upwards trend, and yeah, I suppose, you know, we've got all these tools for you. So whether you're trading off the alerts or not, you'll identify some characteristics of the alerts and go, right, okay, that one usually does this. We tell you what all the alerts are. But if you are new to this, or if you're just trading or in the futures market, you know, this applies to futures, especially candle patterns for sure. We want to be looking at these candle patterns. So again, sorry, I just went off a little bit off track off there. Later, don't worry. Thank you, Dennis. So candles, yeah, as I say, when I first started looking at the screen, I'm sure like most people, it's like, wow, quite colorful, but what does all of this mean? And a fantastic candlestick book, the Japanese Candlestick Charting Guidebook, which sounds quite a mouthful. It is quite a mouthful. It's actually not too bad of a read. It's a very good book. It's very informative, but it's very informative, but it's not too mind-blowing. But it helps you get a real feel for what these candles mean, and they all mean and help paint a picture for what has happened and what should or is going to happen. So let's take it back to basics. What do we have here? Green and the red. You know, I'm on 1 hour candles here. So we've got green and red candles. So a red candle is, let's just zoom right in here. We have a red candle. A red candle, well, the candle itself, let me choose this one as an example. Let's just go off one of these couple here, you know. You can see this wide body. This is the body of the candle. And then we have these little wicks, which are just either side of the body. So a red candle is when the closing price is lower than the opening price. So in other words, this is a 1 hour candle, and after 1 hour, you know, it opened here, and after 1 hour, whatever's happened, this has gone on. After the 1 hour time period, the closing price is finished lower than the opening price. So it's bearish, it's been pushed down. A green one, of course, is the opposite. It means that the closing price is above the opening price. These, I'll just get rid of the RSI for now because it just doesn't need to be there. But what is very, very, or helps to kind of paint a picture of what is going on are these candles, these wicks here. Because as we know, and as I'll go into now, just as a bit of a recap, sorry if you know all this stuff, it's good to kind of recap on it. We have the bodies of the candles, so by identifying, right, okay, that's a red candle, that's a green candle, can help you know what has happened in this time period. Just to go on quickly, I do use 1 minute candles a bit, but I would say that 1 minute candles for candle patterns I don't really use at all, because we've got a doji candle here, but you're talking about a 1 minute time frame. Most of these are doji candles. So likewise for 5 minutes as well, it's quite quick. Well, it's 5 minutes to be precise, but it's the longer the better, really. And for me, 1 hour, sometimes 4 hours, I kind of have a little look at, because it can help you really just paint a picture again of what has been going on and what should happen. So anyway, let me just recenter back onto here. Oh, there we are. I've lost you. A red candle I've just talked through, a green candle. We have these wicks and these shadows, which show within this 1 hour what has tried to have happened. So even though this is a red candle, I'm looking here, and it's come at the bottom of a downwards trend, even though this is a red candle, and you may think, right, okay, red, the closing is below the opening, it's bearish, it's being pushed down, there's also quite a nice wick below it. So it just shows that it's actually been pushed down further, but there is some support. That's not a hammer candle, by the way. You may be looking at this going, oh, lovely little hammer candle. Not really, no. I mean, borderline, but no, it's not. We want this wick to be, at least 2 to 3 times longer than the body. So let's just make sure, okay, everybody's all good. Yeah, Dennis, I'll come to that later on. So candles, that's what they are, red and green. And then now we're going to kind of be talking about candles I kind of use, or what I look for in candles to kind of trade off. Again, in my last seminar, I went through trend lines. Let me just pull this up a bit. It's being a little bit glitchy. Hopefully it's okay your end. Trend lines. Let me just pull one right out of anywhere. Okay, there we go. Up we go. That's going to come round a little bit. Let's go from there up to there to here. So trend lines, which I touched on last seminar, help you identify, again, momentum wise, is a coin going up or is it going down? So candles, they're red or they're green. What are we looking for? As I say, these wicks help you paint a picture of what's happened within this time period, but candles that will show you that a possible indication is coming up. For me, hammer candles I love. Doji candles, especially on these bigger time frames, like 1 hour. If the coin has had a massive drop or a massive rise, and you have just a bit of a doji candle or a couple of dojis, it basically means that there's been quite a sell-off. However, at whatever level or whatever resistance or support, it's held. It hasn't continued to be being sold off. So let me just show you this here. On the 1 hour candles, I've drawn that trend line, which I like to do. 15 minutes helps you look at this a little bit closer. Okay. Coming back onto this same trend line. So instantly, if I'm looking here and I'm going, right, I've identified this trend line, and it's starting here, we've had a nice shoot up. What I will then be looking for is, as it's shot up, when it starts to come down, approaching this trend line that I started from here, this is when you start to look for candle patterns that you want to be seeing around the support line, around this region here. And let's go in a bit closer. This is a nice hammer candle, because, I mean, there's a couple, in fact. The price has come right down, and then around this trend line, around the lower Bollinger Band as well, so maybe we would have been alerted off an alert here. There's over 5% drop, so yes, we would have been. So again, an alert comes in, or you're looking at this coin, lower Bollinger Band. At times it peels away and it continues down, which it has here. You know, that's a good 4%. So help with your timings and getting in on coins. We've had a huge sell-off. The next 15-minute candle, again, it's tried to come down, but within that 15 minutes it's been pushed up. That's a first indication for the first time along this bearish run here, that especially along this trend line, that there are the bulls, people wanting to buy and keep this price above that level to help with the trend and momentum of where it's going. The next one was a green candle. You know, it's not going to happen straight away. Again, the bears came back in, pushed it down, back into this same sort of region of this wick. And then this would have been the nice deciding factor for me here. This hammer candle. So quite a small body, which shows that the opening and close price are, you know, almost the same. But then the bears have continued to go, right, let's push this down, which they have. Within this 15 minutes, again, it's come down a couple of minutes, but then again, back up, not only to this trend line, but above the lower Bollinger Band, and back up to where this previous wick was. So that's a huge sign of support at this level. And yeah, I mean, it doesn't always go quite as boom as this, but in the next candle from the trend line, it has had a very nice rise up. Again, working away along the trend line. Let's just, here we're coming back here. Then there's nothing really to, in terms of candles, a bit of a hammer candle here. Let me just highlight there, but again, very small, very small. On 15 minutes, again, you don't really want to be using less than 15-minute candles for indication of possible reversals. Here is a bit of a hammer candle. I mean, that's 1.3, 2.3. Bit of a hammer candle there before we shot back down. Then it came through the trend line and down we went. Let me just find a couple more better examples for you. Hammer candles, as I say, are something that I like to trade off quite a lot. Let's just pull this up here. And especially when you're looking at hammer candles, again, what I talked about in my last seminar and identifying, right, this coin has hit the lower Bollinger Band. As we know, like here, you know, they can peel away from the lower Bollinger Band, come up, or they peel away and continue down. So what we want to identify, and what I do like on 1 hour candles as well, is identifying these double bottoms or double tops, like here. So it's come down, it's found this support level, it's come up a bit, it's come back down to the same support level. Nothing too really candle-wise here, but this nice double bottom, if I was looking at this coin live now, I would have liked, and again, we had the rise up. Hadamai, which is kind of like the doji next to a red candle. Let's just have a look for one of these. Let's go back onto 15 and see what happened here on the 15-minute candles. Just bear with me a minute. I was going to get up a few examples for you people, but I was having some issues with the internet nicely before I jumped onto Twitch and onto on getting the streaming thing set up. Then I had to close it all down. So apologies, I did have some nice examples lined up. But let's go on to 15-minute candles here. And again, what are we dealing with? Again, initially, this is where I was looking at before. We've got this double bottom. It's come to this first bottom. It's come up. Oh, it's come back down. We have a bit of a double bottom here before the rise up. Hammer candle there, just about. But a lot of these small doji candles, and this can be a nice indication, especially when a price is shot down or shot up. If you start getting multiple doji candles, which is very much the closing and the opening price is almost the same. So the body you can't really see, you can just see this wick, like this one here. You can just see wicks either side. It's a doji. It means the opening and closing price, so whatever time you're looking at, been a bit of a stalemate between the bears and the bulls. Well, if you're thinking about a massive drop or a massive rise, if there is that stalemate on the next candle, over a 15-minute or especially an hour, then the momentum of that sell-off, or people buying it, has slowed right down and stopped. So a reversal, a possible reversal, is on the way. How do you know if it's going to shoot up or down with the dojis? Good question. Like what I've discussed before, and maybe one of the next seminars, I know Thursday I'm going to do the futures one, maybe one of the next seminars I do is kind of charting patterns. Last seminar, which you're on, Dennis, of course, I went through trend lines and kind of the momentum of a coin. Is it going down? Is it going up? Even if they come down, is it predominantly in an upwards movement? So I suppose, in short, that's my answer to you. How do you know if it's going to shoot up or down? You have to see what it's done before. If a coin has shot down, this is just an example here. If a coin has shot down over 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, however many percent in an hour, a few hours, and then you have a doji, you have another doji, that is an indication of a reversal. So whatever direction it's come from, it's reversing. It's an indication that momentum has slowed down and it's going to look to be going the other way. So short answer would be to look at what it has done before. If it's gone down and there's been a couple of dojis, chances are it's a nice sign that it's going to start going up. It's like preparation for war. Kind of, that's one. It's not a bad little analogy. You could say it's like the preparation for the comeback. All this is between, with these trades, and people buying and selling. It's just these different waves of the buyers buying, the sellers selling, and when we're looking on these bigger time candles, you can really see that. It's good to then go into the 15 and the 5 minutes, because it really does paint a picture. But that's why the wicks, and that's why I'm going to come to the wicks actually, and the shadows are very important, because we have to take them into account. And that's why with trend lines, let me just refresh your memory here. With trend lines, we go off, or I go off the closing prices, because, that went the wrong way there. Because if we went off the low and high price, then you're taking into account a bit of the manipulation, well, not manipulation, but these huge market buys and sells. So we're kind of going off the bodies. Sometimes, like here, you'll see these big wicks. Well, the wicks are great, and they instantly help you see, like, right, okay, within this 1 hour candle, wow, it's been holding here, holding here, holding here. There's been a huge sell-off, but it hasn't continued going down, 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 down. Within this 1 hour, it's had a massive sell-off. So could have been a huge couple of big market sells where the price has just gone down and down and down. But then the support has been shown, and the bulls, the buyers have pushed the price back up. Again, in reference to your question, Dennis, yeah, I mean, it's preparation. If there's been a massive downwards trend, then it's only going to go down for so long. So it is preparation for the reversal. I think dojis are that preparation. You know, hammer candles indicate even more support, because it's basically saying that the bears have tried to push it down even more, and the bulls have come right back in with that time zone. You know, with a doji, it can be just a bit of a stalemate once there's been a huge market sell-off or market buy for it to bring up. Let's just go on to this coin. I think this was one of the coins that I wanted to bring some examples to. Oh, let's had quite some movement going on. Okay, well, let's look here. What are these candles telling me here? You know, if you're looking at long wicks, especially, I mean, well, sorry, this is on a day candle. Let's go a little bit closer. Okay. What do we have here? So we've got some big wicks at the top. Again, wicks will instantly tell me here that if I'm looking at this coin and wow, it's come up again, and oh my God, that's just kept on going up. Again, preparation for war, however you want to put it. Nate, I'll get you in just a moment, mate. However you want to put it, yeah. Once I've been occasion, a massive amount of bull activity pushing the price up, but within this hour, the price has gone up and up and up, and it's been pushed down. After that, it's been pushed down a bit more before coming up. Again, here we have a bit of a double top. It's come back up to the same sort of region that it was before. These wicks again show strength with the bulls, but because once the candle had finished and closed, they were as wicks and not the body, then it does show a bit of sign of loss of momentum. You know, the bears are pushing this down for a second time, for a third time, even on the next candle. We've got an inverted hammer here, really on the top of this one. So on occasion number 1, the price got rejected. Occasion number 2, the price got rejected. Occasion number 3, with this inverted hammer. The inverted hammers can imply the same as a hammer, but just try and just visualize what has happened in this 1 hour candle. In this occasion, the price has come up, 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 and in this 1 hour candle, the opening and closing price is the same. The bulls have continued and tried to push the price up, and the bears have gone no. If this was just a regular hammer, in terms of coming down this way, then that could imply that, okay, we still have a bit of bullish momentum going. So even though an inverted hammer does imply similar to a hammer, depending if it's on the way up or the way down, just try and read what this inverted hammer is doing. In this case, it pointing this way shows me again that the bears have some very good strength here. Likewise, on the way down, if you had an inverted hammer on the way down, it's not as strong as a regular hammer on the way down. In my opinion, from what I've seen, on the way up, an inverted hammer is stronger than a hammer. On the way down, a hammer is stronger than an inverted hammer, if that makes sense, because you've just got to try and read what is going on. Again, it's been pushed up, it's been pushed down. If we're talking about a downwards movement, again, this is not here, but if I'm just saying, right, if we had a hammer here, this shows me that the price has come down. Okay, the price has been pushed down, but the bulls have come back in. If this was an inverted hammer with the wick coming up, this shows me that the price has come down. The bulls have tried to kind of push it up, but it hasn't worked. The price has come back down. So wouldn't actually imply to me as much, or I wouldn't pay as much notice to it as I would an inverted in that example. Okay, Nate, would that mean a red hammer followed by a green star or doodle mean a possible... yeah, I mean, dojis are good candles to look at, as I say, to try and have an idea if there's been a big buy or a big sell-off, then when is this run, when is the momentum going to be taken out of this? Inevitably, if it's shot up, dojis are an indication that the surge is slowing down and it's going to start coming down. If you have a hammer followed by a doji, then it's just more of an indication for that. Let me just see if I can just bring an example for you here. Okay, let's just... Very good question. I mean, and with these candles, you know, we do... okay, here we go. Just trying to find a nice example for you here. Of course, it's when you're bloody looking for them like this, it's not popping out as they usually do. Just bear with me. But yeah, any combination of candles just adds more strength to what it could imply. You know, if you've just got a doji, then while it may imply, like here, look, okay, so you know, even though I've got a few different examples, let me just get rid of that again. I've got a few different examples here. So here is a bit of a hammer candle. Next we have a smaller one and like a tiny little doji here. And then the price has come up, but it's just gone horizontal for a bit. Bit of a hammer candle here. And then it starts to narrow. We have this Bollinger Band squeeze, a few dojis, a couple of dojis, and then up we go. Again, this wick implies to me that even though in this 15 minutes, there's been a surge up, there is some resistance, it's been pushed down. Then following this, that's a bit of an inverted hammer, which shows me, yes, again, the price has tried to be pushed up, it's been pushed down. And then some dojis, the closing and opening prices are very close together, but what you will notice here is that the opening price for each candle is lower than the previous candle, which again implies, you know, if you've had a run up and, you know, whatever candle formation has been formed, if the opening price for the next candle is lower than the previous one, then it's obviously moving down a bit. And again, if the next candle, the opening price is lower than the previous one, inevitably what's going on within these candle lengths, you need to kind of have a look once that candle is finished. It's all about when the candle finishes, and that's why, you know, looking at 1 minute candles is good, 5 minute candles, yes. But that's why when we put this course together and with the checklist and everything, then the kind of the 1 hour candles and the 15 minute candles, because it's quite easy to be swayed by these candles, because why does it keep doing that? Let me just show you what I mean. Okay. No. Let's just go on to 4 hours. Well, just, you know, this case and point, you know, it's this is obviously on 4-hour candles. So, you know, without stating the obvious, I've been looking at 1-hour candles. This is 4 of them inside one of these. So this is why candles are great. But again, you can't just go off half-heartedly candles itself or the RSI. It's a combination of a few things, because it doesn't always imply what you think it may. Here we have on a 4-hour candle a massive inverted hammer. So yes, for you looking at this, you're like, well, that's really narrow. It's squeezing. That inverted hammer, surely it's now going to be, it's been pushed up, pushed back down. Now surely it's going to be coming back down. I mean, yeah, if I was looking at this live now, I'd be like, right, that could be on its way down now. Shows real strength around here. But it also shows that behind the scenes, yes, people are wanting to push the price up. So the next 4 hours, this body kind of stayed within the green. This next one, we have a bit of a 3-line strike here, actually. If you know this sort of candle length, this candle pattern, these 3 red candles with a hammer candle in the middle, that is not part of the 3-line strike. But this hammer candle here, well, these 3 candles, this green candle actually kind of engulfs the previous 3 candles. The 3-line strike, again, I can't remember if we mentioned it in the course or not. There are, for those of you that have read the book or looked online, there is an endless amount of information about these candles and patterns. Obviously, the more you know, the better, but a 3-line strike is a good indication of a reversal or strength in a direction. So yes, we've had this massive sell-off, and then we have these 3 candles. But actually, candle number 4 is a huge green candle that the price, the closing price, is just a bit over than this opening price of this first candle many hours before. But again, if you're looking at 5-minute candles, 15, it still applies the same. We have a doji, which means over this 4 hours, not much happened. So we've had this upward spike, not much has happened, the bears haven't responded, and then boom, up we go, up we go. And again, we've got some nice long wicks here, nice long wicks. Wow, this just kept on going. Always good to, whatever this first wick comes to, this signifies strong resistance, and therefore it's quite crucial then to look at these, because it's going to act as a huge barrier. And again, with a red candle forming here underneath this, it just shows that the high price is getting lower each time. So as well as closing prices and opening prices, yeah, you're not going to use them for your trend lines, but generally, if a coin is in a downwards momentum, each time a low price, well, it will get lower each time. Hence here, you know, we are looking at this downwards trend for each of these candles. I'm on 4 hour. Yeah, let's just go on to an hour. Okay. Just about each time, you know, the low price kept on getting lower. We had a bit of a horizontal run here, but then as it continued down, generally the low prices were getting lower each time, which is a massive bearish signal. When we then get to the bottom, and this is what is happening right now, look here, what do we have? We have a few, kind of a very small hammer, some doji candles to show strength. It's been running down for so long, gets to this bottom bit, and then we have a natural bend, a natural reversal starting to happen before this upwards shoot up. So yeah, apologies. I hope that is some good information. As I said, I did have some fabulous examples for you, but had to bloody reboot this before going live and change some of the settings, so a little bit disjointed. I hope that's some good info and examples for you. Any questions about candles, what they mean, candle patterns? I suppose what I'm getting at is that, yeah, 1 hour candles for me imply a hell of a lot. 4 hour candles I look at, and then as always, you know, trading off 15 and 5. 5 is good for timing, but yeah, 15 is usually very good as well. And, you know, not lastly, because I can open this up to questions, but again, just bear in mind, if you are identifying a certain trend, it's quite imperative to wait for the candle to end if you're looking at an hour or 15. And generally, if you are on a trend, again, let's just go here, trend line, bang, right across this, very, very rough, before coming down. If you are looking at candle patterns in relation to, you know, where the alerts come in or Bollinger Band interaction, then don't be too influenced by these wicks. You know, if you're on a 5-minute candle and there's been a huge sell-off, chances are that's just them trying to push this price down against the trend line. So you'll find that that wick will then be pushed back up. And again, that's why we just take the body into account when looking at these trend lines. I check day, 4 hour now for general trend and trade in 15 and 5. So it's nice for you to reinforce that for me. Yeah, perfect. You know, the checklist, we go on that. But as I say, we all, not each to their own. We've got the method, you've got your indicators you're going to use, and based off trades you've done, analysis you're using, etc., you're going to kind of find your own little grooves with it as well. How to identify the real change of trend? I mean, in this example, going down the stairs part, there are some small rev with dojis. Okay, that's a good question. So, you know, how do we identify when a trend is changing? Let's just see. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, so like this. Here we go. It's a good question, because as I was actually just talking about, you know, you don't want to be influenced too quick and think, right, the trend is going to be is changing before you actually get that confirmation. And as you can see here, you know, it's been bouncing off this trend line quite a lot, up, and then it's starting to get closer, lose momentum. But actually, in this 1 hour, we had a huge sell-off which broke through the trend line. But then, the next hour, it came straight back through. If we look at this on 15-minute candles, there we go. If we look at this on 15-minute candles, yeah, you can see here it's coming close to the trend line, and in this time zone it's gone, right, let's have a real sell-off, pushing the price right down, and that is quite a full red candle. If there are no wicks and you have quite a big red candle, it shows force with the sell-off, because the bears have not been able to kind of push the price back up at all. It's just in that time zone been pushed right down. However, in the next 15 minutes, it's been pushed up. But one thing to identify with these trend lines, or to be wary about, is when you have a trend line, it's quite often, I know I've zoomed right out, it doesn't really matter for now, but when you identify a trend line, and if it hits the trend line, it bounces off. It comes right away from it, before then retracing and coming back down. Should just kind of, for the first couple of times anyway, come close to the trend line, touch it, overlap it a little bit before popping back up. But when in this example, the bears start to lose momentum a bit, is when the pops don't really happen much anymore. You can see here, let me just get rid of that. You can see right here, it's kind of hugging this trend line. It's popped up here, now it's coming close to the trend line. It's tried to break away again, but then again it's come back down. So that is a bit of a indication that the momentum is slowing down. It will only pop off the trend line so many times before it then starts to hug the trend line. You will then see a bit of an attempt of a sell-off for it to come through. Maybe it gets rejected, but then it will only again get rejected so many times before it breaks through. And what will quite happen then, what will quite often happen, Dennis, is that once it breaks through the trend line, it goes horizontal. There won't be an immediate sell-off. Quite a good indication of a trend reversal is a double top. So it comes horizontal before dropping. Or likewise for a bullish reversal, it goes horizontal, or you have a double bottom before it comes up. The 4 hour, and as I said, this, when me and my brother put this together, we created the checklist and the method for you to be able to get into trading and use indicators and see for yourself. But the more of a scope of this, the better. If you're trading off the 15 and the 5, it's good, but you want to be looking at day candles, looking at 4 hour candles, 1 hour candles, kind of start zoomed out and zoom in. The more you can feel what this coin is doing, is it generally going up or down, the better. And especially in these time increments of, these 4 hour or 1 hour or 15 minutes, trying to see that, if it is moving upwards, we know they're going to have them small retraces before continuing up, or is it generally moving downwards? If the coin is moving down on over 4 hours or over an hour, then yes, when we have these lower Bollinger Band interactions, it's going to hit the lower Bollinger Band and start to peel away. But on a 4 hour candle or 1 hour candle, if that is a huge red candle, then generally it's going to peel away from the lower Bollinger Band and then continue down, and then peel away and continue down. And then you have to identify, when is it going to start to gain some support and peeling away from this lower Bollinger Band, getting a double bottom, and then start the leg up. And we go, that's where we want to get in, and let's make some percentages off it. I think it's easier to Michael Lastly should be the intro. Michael Lastly should be the introductions to perpetual futures trading. Where he can be, I can speak to Michael, but we've kind of put this together all ourselves. Yeah, he's in some more of the videos, but I'm kind of taking care of the seminars for now. I can ask Michael to make a special appearance, but I was planning on doing the seminar on Thursday. Especially, me and you, Zakon, we spoke quite a lot one-to-one about the trading and everything. So I don't know, if you're requesting Michael, I'm a little bit worried. Maybe you've had a little bit enough of my my one-to-one, which is understandable. Dennis, I think it's easier to identify the trend up to trend down. It's it's kind of the same, if you're applying your knowledge to up as well as down. It's just getting used to identifying these swings of what's happening with these coins, with Bollinger Band interactions, with these candles. Most kidnappings and Michael falling in their trades come support. Yeah, exactly. Most kidnappings, I wouldn't describe it as that, but if you are, some things can line up really good. Now, an alert comes in, or you're trading and you're going, that looks amazing. We've got the lower Bollinger Band interaction. It's come down, it's going to come up. Okay? But if you're looking at 5 minutes, or if you're looking at 15 minutes, then you're looking at a very small time at that time. 5 minutes, it may be hitting the lower Bollinger Band, or the 15 minutes the lower Bollinger Band. But if it's broken trend, or if it's coming down, then it's at the start. If it's at the start of a downwards trend, then that's when you're going to be seeing the lower Bollinger Band interactions, where it hits, comes up, and then just shoots down more. So it's kind of learning to see where you are on the scale of the trend, and where the alerts come in, and also the trades that you've done before. That's why, you know, the calculator, we can't emphasize enough, and using it to get your percentages, because we can all get in lower, and we, at the end of the day, as well, can be getting more out of each trade. So it's, you know, using these candles and trend lines, you can learn from that. What's the future for this ERD? I'll end with that, and then yes, I will do an overview. No worries. I'm on ERD. What's the future? What is the future? Well, let's go on today candles. Oh, where the hell will it reach? Wow. Well, it's been doing pretty well recently. What is the future? If only we knew. If only we could tell. We can only. Okay. Well, there's a rough trend line for you, as we can all kind of, or hopefully see. It's in an upwards trend. What do we identify and see here? That there's some massive wicks, a huge wick here that, you know, yesterday it got pushed right up, reached 280, 290 I think, but then got pushed back down to 235. Got a bit of an inverted hammer coming on today's candle. But again, looking at trend lines, this could be pushed back down, I think, to the kind of 200 region, perhaps, which already has been pushed down to 216, 215 today. Yeah, I mean, it could quite easily, with what is going on in the market, Dennis, and, you know, with Bitcoin going on a run, if Bitcoin holds above 10, then again, the alts are going to be catching up. So there's a lot of money being put into the crypto markets and these altcoins. So it could hit 300, and yesterday it was very close to doing so. It's in an upwards momentum. For you, if you're in on this, I would just keep an eye on this region here, what happens today, and this trend. You know, if it comes around here, it's already popped off this trend line recently. It's going to be coming back down to here, and then maybe shooting up again, or today may go on a bit of a run. So it could and should hit 300, but it has been rejected already. I would like it could get put. I know that's not the most decisive answer, Dennis, potentially, but yesterday it had a huge day. And what are we looking at here? It's kind of a bit of a couple of days that it went up almost 40%. Yesterday it had huge movements going on, 30%, but the opening closing price was not too far from each other. And then today the opening price is above where it opened yesterday, so it is still showing signs of being in an upwards momentum. So yeah, I mean, if you're in on this coin, it's looking good. Just keep an eye now, that's on 1 day candles. Keep an eye on what's happening, and if we see here, well, we start to get a little bit of a different picture using this trend line and heading up. It's already popped off this a couple of times, but again, with what I just said, this is a real indication of how steep it's popped off this trend line, that it's still got a nice bit of upwards momentum. Oh wow, a few more. What's the future of ERD? I think he got his names mixed up. I was going for a quick review, yes. I also do to the Bitcoin. Bitcoin went to the sky, and ERD went to hell. ERD is still looking good, Dennis, and it's still in an upwards momentum. So fingers crossed, whatever position that you're in on it, it's looking good. Just keep an eye with the 1 hour candles and this trend line. What's going to happen over the next few hours. Cool, Zakon. No worries. I hope that was the case and that you've not just had enough of listening to my voice. Yeah, are we doing Thursday for all any of you new or already into the futures? Bit of an introduction and also just general Q&A. Also, what we'll be talking about again is it's kind of relevant from spot to futures trading as well because it's chart analysis just with the trades, and opening trades are a bit different. There's a few more steps to it, which for those of you that have done the futures trading know exactly what I'm talking about. A quick overview at the end. I suppose, today was, a little bit disjointed mainly because not off to a great start, but the topic was candles, candle patterns, and how to apply them to improve your trading. Number one would be just educating yourself. Yes, we have it in the course, we go through candles. There's that fantastic candlestick book. The more you know about candles, the better. There are some crazy, amazing candle patterns that you just start to identify more and more. But knowing what implications a 5-minute hammer can have to a 1-hour hammer allows you to kind of see the bigger picture and just get these, especially with futures trading, because you can long and short, getting the peaks and the troughs. You've gone up to day candles for these spot examples. Yeah, that was not so much for the spot examples, Rubens. That was just as Dennis was asking for he asked what was the future for ERD. So I was trying to look on day candles to kind of get a real scope of it. So that's what I like to do. Day candles can give you a feel right over the last week. Is it moving up? Is it moving down? Has it had a run down and is now looking like it should start to be coming up? It's better to be in an upwards battle than a downwards battle. For futures, yeah, similar, but I'll talk more about this on Thursday. Again, always starting with longer time lengths to get a feel of, okay, what has this candle been doing the last few days? But then I go right into detail actually, and with futures probably more so on 15, looking at 5, even looking at 1 minute as well. So yeah, I will cover that more. The more you look at, the better. Do I want to say that? You want to kind of keep you have the checklist, keep your trades to a few candle lengths. Hour to 15 to 5. But in the beginning, it's kind of 1 hour to 15. Go more so off the bodies because the closing and opening lengths, opening prices are what they closed and open for. It doesn't take into account people that are trying to have a huge market sell-off or market buy. And just candles along with trend lines, along with lower Bollinger Band interactions can help you avoid getting in on these coins that if you're alerted to and have hit the lower Bollinger Band, start to peel away and you're going, right, this is now going to be reversing up. If it's just in the start of a downwards trend, then chances are it's going to peel away but continue down. So yeah, I'll send you, these are all recorded. I'll put this link up, and likewise the one on Thursday, yes, I will put the link up so you can see. ERD are releasing mainnet in 2 days. Great. There is so much great and good news coming out about all coins. I think I said it to Dennis last time, just like with news as well as the order book, I don't go or let news or orders influence my trading too much, because it's not going off charts. And yeah, while there's great news coming out and it usually has a great impact, there's so much going on with these coins and technology and money moving behind the scenes that it doesn't always have an immediate impact. You could go keep holding on to ERD and it will just it may drop in price with this mainnet release in a couple of days, and then in a week time go boom, up. So while good news does imply positive effects on the coins, it's not always the case. Like when a coin like when a coin is first released on Binance, you know, me and my brother as well, looking at it and we're going, right, let's get some alerts for these coins that are just released onto Binance. Surely, if they're just released onto Binance, that's great news. Let's get in on a coin and ride it up. Again, it's great news that they're being released onto Binance, the great platform that it is. But some coins, when they're released, they drop in price, and they drop really, really fast. Because there's just so many moving parts behind the scenes, so much money. So yeah, I think I'll end it with that. You know, just go off charts. What has happened? Look at trend lines. Try and see what these coins are doing, and by identifying these candle patterns and reversals, based off the trades you've done, working with the percentages you've got on your calculators, just to improve your trades and timings. You're going to make mistakes, or you're going on a coin that you think is going to reverse up, but it may not always be the case. By having this knowledge and looking at bigger pictures and larger coins, candles, it can help you avoid them. So I think that's about an hour. Again, apologies, it was a little disjointed in the beginning. Thank you for joining. I'll post this up into the community. Keep up the chat in the community, and helping each other out. Let me know if you've got any questions, ping me a message. And on Thursday, I think at the same time, I'll post an announcement about it. I will be doing a seminar on futures trading, and again, just any general questions, or Dennis, any coins that you're in that we can go over. So yeah, thanks for joining. Have a lovely day wherever in this, I would say, wonderful but crazy world that we're living in. And yeah, stay classy, people. Stay trading. Over and out.